Just like having the right information is necessary to make solid hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Since 1964, Memphis Theological Seminary has worked to equip men and women of all races and faiths with the spark to do ministry for the real world. We're grateful to serve our community and proud to support WKNO.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Additional funding for the Spark provided by Christian Brothers University.
This month on The Spark, our theme is the power of art. We'll learn more about a community school of the arts with the thriving after-school dance program, an organization amplifying the impact of the arts and raising funds and awareness to ensure its excellence in our city, and a company that literally rolls out the red carpet and adds its artistic flair to bring events to life. We'll also share a special moment from our Spark Awards 2015. Have you ever been excited by a new idea? Inspired by watching someone lead by example? When we talk about creating change, we start by sharing the stories of everyday heroes who are making a difference in their own way, so we can learn and do the same. This truth is the power behind this show, which is focused on business and community leaders that are leading by example to give back, fuel change, and create new opportunities for the Mid-South. I'm Jeremy Park, and this is The Spark. They're a community school for the arts with a thriving after-school dance program. I'm here with the CEO, president, founder, and artistic director for New Ballet Ensemble School, Katie Smythe. And that's a lot of titles, but it's a personal legacy for you. So
it is.
Give us some history for New Ballet.
Well, the history really is rooted in the fact that I grew up in Memphis as a dancer, as a child, and had a lot afforded to me. I was able to go to the Royal Academy in the summers and dance in Banff, Canada, and ultimately find my dance home in Minnesota because I had such excellent training. And after my career had filled out my vision for my career was pretty much done, I decided, what's my act two? And it was to make possible what happened for me for children who came from poverty or who didn't even know that there was an option to do this with their lives. I think there are a lot of people who are born knowing that they're dancers, and if there's no outlet for it, no avenue painted for you to success, no roadmap, what are you going to do? Dance in your living room. So that is a segue to Little Buck, because he did dance in his living room until he came to the ballet.
And I want to say Little Buck because this is a huge success on your end. But what I love about what you're doing is you're taking this world-class education, this opportunity, and to your point, you're giving it to those who might not be able to afford it otherwise.
That's
and so
right.
You're opening up your arms to literally everyone, saying, hey, we're here to make a difference, we're here to make an impact, we're here to do it together. So describe the programs, describe the outreach side of what you're doing.
Well, New Ballet Ensemble is in and of itself a creative youth development program, and that applies whether you're a child from an affluent household that chooses us because it's the very best ballet training and your friend got into a great college to dance and that's why you're there, or whether you're a child who's come to us through a recruitment in a Title I school. Every child receives the same product when they come in the front door at the same time in the same classrooms, and they grow up together as family. These are children that would never know one another otherwise. So that's the beautiful outcome, which was one of the main parts of the vision, is that children would do this together, not in isolation.
Right.
And our inner cities in Memphis are as isolated as a rural community with lack of transportation, lack of broadband internet. And so the way to do it is to sort of engineer that togetherness so that children can inform one another about their backgrounds, their likes, their dislikes, what their grandmother said to them when they were little. I mean, all of those things that naturally happen throughout the day. So our advanced students are with us 20 hours a week. They're doing their homework at New Ballet, and our students who apply for and self-select into the program have mentoring through Grizzlies Memphis, Team Up Memphis mentoring program. So they'll meet with a mentor once a week for an hour, and that mentor typically stays with the child for as many as 3, 4, 5 years. We're only going on our 4th year, so we can't go beyond that. But I can foresee that one of our mentors right now, who's with a junior at Melrose, will remain with him through his senior year.
Well, I think that's really important too,
and maybe
because
beyond.
With the success that you're having in the school, it's also translating into the classroom, and so academic success is a big part of this.
It is, and the schools that we're shooting for dance are NYU, Boston Conservatory, Marymount Manhattan, SMU, TCU. We have a student at the University of South Carolina that just got into a professional company. It's an excellent dance department, and she was on academic and dance scholarship. Those schools require fairly high ACTs. Even if you're a knockout dancer, you've got to have at least a 25 ACT, and we know the ultimate goal is what, a 36? I think that can be unrealistic for some children, but raising that score is very possible, and we have them at New Ballet for 20 hours a day, so while they're with us, they might as well attend their ACT tutoring with us so that their schedules don't become so encumbered that they can't fulfill their dance avocation and their academic aspirations. They can do it at the same time, but they need to do it in the same place.
Well, I love that you're bringing it all together. So transition over, because you mentioned him, Lil Buck. You've had huge success. Lil Buck is one of those. Talk about Lil Buck and all the successes you've had, or some of the successes, I should say, because we can't list them all.
That's true. That's true. Well, because we have students at Herod Conservatory in Boca Raton, which is the premier dance conservatory in the country, the best teenage dancers go there for a free dance education, even if their parents are doctors. So if we can take that work ethic and that training that gets a child into the premier conservatory in the country and give it to every single child who walks into our door, and that door is wide open, imagine what can happen. So in Little Buck's case, the access was to the greater arts world. College was not his path. It's not everyone's path. He wanted to juke on the Great Wall of China, and he wound up doing it with Yo-Yo Ma and Meryl Streep, because we bring in teachers from around the country to work with the children. So if I can't take these children to the Royal Ballet as I was sent as a child, I can bring Martha Graham teachers to them, or New York City ballet dancers to them. So in Little Buck's case, a New York City dancer, Damien Wetzel, who is now a member of the President's Committee on the Arts and the Humanities, saw Little Buck. His wife, Heather Watts, the great ballerina, saw him, and they saw the vision that I saw, this conversation across generations between a 17-year-old and an 80-year-old that could take place if they find commonality, say, in classical music. And they brought that to the world. And it happened because Little Buck had the courage to walk into a ballet studio 20 hours a week. Not many young men from South Memphis have the courage to do that and to stand up to their friends and defend that entire idea, that ballet is going to make his urban dance better. But he was an expert in urban dance, and there are experts there in ballet, of course. The important thing is that everyone finds their expertise and that everyone has to struggle and meet a challenge. But it's never a one-way road. You can imagine that children from affluent families have so much provided for them that they might appear to be the stars, the academic stars, or the better dancers because they've had so much training. We try to really erase that and create a new equation where we raise the capacity of all by understanding our differences.
I love it. So you have a lot of great shows throughout the year. Nut Remix is one of them. Tell us real fast 1 or 2 ways to get involved.
Become a mentor. Katie at newballet.org, or Lina, L-I-N-A, at newballet.org. Sign up to work with a child on a weekly basis, or a group mentor if you have something to share with the group. Donate to scholarships. We have $55,000 worth of scholarships to fund this year. That's tuition for children who come from far below the poverty line, so they can have access to the same thing that maybe your child has access to. And some of our biggest donors in the scholarship arena do this as a gift to their own grandchildren. For instance, at Easter, we're going to fund a dance education for a child, and we're going to follow that child throughout their career. That's a really valuable gift. And help us raise our capacity by volunteering. You can work backstage, you can work at the Cannon Center with us the week before Thanksgiving during that remix. You can get people from the parking garage to the theater and see a free show. There are all kinds of ways you can contribute.
Well, make sure, get involved. New Ballet Ensemble in School. Greatly appreciate all you're doing here in the Mid-South and for coming on the show and sharing.
Thank you, Jim.
They're an organization amplifying the impact of the arts here in the Mid-South. I'm here with the president and CEO of Arts Memphis, Elizabeth Rouse. And for starters, give us some history and context for Arts Memphis.
Thanks, Jeremy. Arts Memphis is a 53-year-old United Arts Fund. We are here to support arts organizations and artists throughout Shelby County, and we do that by providing grant funding, but also by being a support system to these organizations through mentoring and connecting them with other efforts happening in the city, connecting them with each other, connecting them with donors, and really working day in and day out to make sure that Memphians recognize the value of the arts to our great city.
Well, when you look at it, especially, I mean, being the birthplace and, you know, the home of rock and roll and all these great legacies related to the arts, that to me is so important for our legacy, but you're looking forward on this, you know, to your point, helping artists, organizations, anything focused on art. So I look at you as a huge, broad support network, not only for the funding, but obviously, to your point, the support and mentorship to make sure that our future is thriving. Right. Talk about some of the things that when you look at the different organizations and artists you support, give us a listing. I mean, there's tons, but give us a listing, an idea of the scope of Arts Memphis.
Sure. Well, I always like to say start down at the river with the Metal Museum, the only museum of its kind in the country. And you hit South Main, you hit Crosstown Arts, you hit Overton Square, where you have Playhouse on the Square and Hattie Lou Theater and the future home of Ballet Memphis. And then down the street you have Katie Smythe and the new Ballet Ensemble, and head out east all the way to the Germantown Community Theater, and almost every arts organization you pass is involved in Arts Memphis in some way and really counts on Arts Memphis for operating support and to fund their project work.
Talk about collaboration, because what you do is very collaborative, but also too, I think Memphis is one of those rare jewels where the organizations really do collaborate together. So talk about collaboration in your world.
Sure. Yes, Memphis is so fortunate to have a connected arts community and a connected community in general, really. But there are so many organizations working together every day. The Midtown Opera Festival is such a great example. You have New Ballet Ensemble as part of that, and it's held at Playhouse on the Square. And so, but organizations aren't just performing in each other's venues and working with each other on the stage. They're working with each other in the community. And one great example is Theater Memphis and Blue City Cultural Center are working in Orange Mound right now with Orange Mound Outreach Ministries, leading a program bringing seniors and youth together through storytelling. Nice. And so that is work together every single week in the Orange Mound community.
Talk about the Fellows Program.
Sure. So we have 30 graduates of our Fellows Program, and we are in the midst of our third class right now. Individuals who are employees of arts organizations, artists, community members who really want to come together to learn about how the arts can be used as a tool for social change and to really lift an entire neighborhood are involved in this work. It's a 6-month process, and they meet every other week and have a curriculum and are learning everything from how to develop audiences, how to market arts programs, and then really getting to know neighborhoods and understanding what assets and opportunities exist in those neighborhoods and how the arts can be used as a tool, not just a production, but really how the arts can be used to address some of our neighborhood's greatest challenges.
Well, one of the guys, he was the former mayor of Miami, Manny Diaz, but he said that the artists are usually the ones to go into a blighted neighborhood and to fix it up. And he's like, art really is the catalyst to be able to create neighborhood change. Talk about the role of art. I mean, when you look at why it's so important to support Arts Memphis and our artistic organizations, why is it so important for that change? Right.
Well, arts just aren't just the extra. They really bring people together, and the arts are really an equalizer. And I'll tell you a quick story just as an example, and this again is in Orange Mound, just a community where many arts organizations are spending a lot of time these days. And one of those has to do with the issue of blight. And neighbors were coming together and saying, you know, we've got to do something about the issue of blight, and people, they wanted to do something to really encourage residents to use the trash receptacles that the city provides. And so they came together and painted these trash cans, and all over Orange Mound you have these amazing, beautiful trash cans. Now there were some issues at the beginning. The city didn't know which trash cans to pick up. Now they know, and that neighborhood has become much cleaner because of the community coming together around these trash receptacles and painting them.
So how can we help Arts Memphis? Memphis? Obviously financial is a piece of this, but how else can we help Arts Memphis?
So Arts Memphis relies on many, many donors and volunteers. There are many ways to get involved. We have grant panels, we have various committees. If you visit artsmemphis.org, you can learn more about our different initiatives. Yes, we ask you to support Arts Memphis, but also to get out and support these arts organizations. Try something new. We are fortunate to have such a vibrant arts community, and there's something for everyone. And as Ned Canty with Opera Memphis always says, if you haven't been to the opera before, just try it once. And if the opera is not for you, then visit a museum or visit the Indie Memphis Film Festival. There's really something for everybody here.
Well, greatly appreciate all you're doing with Arts Memphis and for coming on the show and sharing it.
Thank you so much.
The Spark Awards annually recognize and celebrate individuals and organizations that have made outstanding contributions to the community. The most recent Education Awards recognized a local teacher at Grahamwood Elementary, Blair Trotz, whose creativity sparked after-school book clubs for neighborhood students.
I'm teaching at Grahamwood Elementary. I teach the CLUE program, which are gifted students. I teach 2nd and 3rd graders. We stumbled upon an I Spy book video about how the books were actually made. We watched the video with the kids and we decided, wow, why don't we just make our own I Spy pages? So everyone brought in items and we talked about rhyming and poetry and flow. And then we thought, why don't we put all these together and create actual books? And then we went a little further and said, why don't we donate these books? And that's how we ended up donating quite a few books to St. Jude.
And talk about the book club that you started.
Well, the book club is with what we call our Scholars Program, which another term is the in-district program, or the students from the neighborhood. We had quite a big gap of learning, and in the reading department, that gap was quite great. So I asked our principal, I said, what about a book club in the afternoon? I had been to a conference and seen this gentleman that had done it, and he had some really good results. So I decided, well, I teach 3rd grade, so why don't I start with that? And so I went to the 3rd grade kids and I said, if you'd like to do it, it's in the afternoon. And the next thing I knew, I had 30 kids at my door. My feeling is most kids can learn just about anything. It's making them feel they can, making them think they can, constantly raising the bar for them to show them that just when you're about to reach it, I'm going to raise it for you. Why? Because I know you can. We have a lot of aha moments. You don't exactly know when those aha moments are going to occur, but it is amazing. In my book club, I had a young boy who came and he was acting out. He was bothering other children, kind of nudging them when they were reading and, trying to make people laugh. So I kept him after one day and I just said, what's going on with you? I said, I want to know about you. I'm going to tell you some things about me. I want to know some things about you. So we started to chat and we talked and I told him, I said, you are so smart. You don't have to behave this way. You can listen, you can practice, you can think, and all of those things, when you do them correctly, you won't have to act like that. So he started, coming to book club a little more regularly. He was kind of off and on. And then the very first day of school this year, he comes up to me and he says, Miss Trotz, I said, hey, how you doing? He goes, what day is book club starting? And so what I think is I really inspired him to do more. And I've developed a relationship with his parents who were very nice people, but not that involved. And now they're very involved. So you have the opportunity to affect an entire family. It's pretty powerful.
They literally roll out the red carpet, bring events to life here in the Mid-South. I'm here with Catherine Knoll, Carol Gillerin with Mahaffey Tent and Event Rentals. And for starters, when you talk about Mahaffey Tent and Event Rentals, long legacy here in the Mid-South, a lot of accolades. Let's start with you, Catherine. Give us some history from Mahaffey.
Well, Mahaffey was started in 1924. It was started as an awning company by the Mahaffey brothers. They started doing awnings for river barges and kind of moved from there to the Mid-South Fair to essentially where we are now, where we work with large corporate events, weddings, music festivals, fairs, you name it, we do it, any type of event.
And these are huge tents, some of which are like airplane hangar size.
Yes.
Red carpet events, so everything in between. Talk about just some of the really neat things from tents all the way to events.
From tinning, we start really with maybe construction, airplane hangars. We do anything that is maybe a long-term, semi-permanent structure. So we have companies that will rent to store their airplanes or any kind of goods and services that they provide for their customers. We also do music festivals. We do Jazz Fest. We do Bonnaroo, Life is Beautiful. We also do the Newport Yachting Festival. It's an international boat show. So we've had people that have gone to festivals like that and have come down here and said, hey, we saw your tent up in Newport, Rhode Island. We didn't realize that you were all across the country. So I think that's something that not many people realize.
Well, even just the other day, we were at a lunch and one of the young men said, or it was an older gentleman, he had a young man that was in the military and he said, I have a picture where he said, I feel like I'm close to home. And he was out overseas, but a picture was him in a Mahaffey tent. So just really neat storylines like that you're everywhere around the world, and it's all coming from right here in Memphis.
Yes, yes. And that's really kind of, we've started and grew in Memphis. Mid-South is our headquarters. We do so many events within the Mid-South and a lot of different organizations in the Mid-South, but also around the United States. Part of what we like about being in Memphis is that we are a 2-hour drive from pretty much anywhere in the continental United States. Kind of like FedEx, we're a distribution hub. So it allows us to really operate on a national scale.
Love it. So Carol, let's switch over to you. When you talk about the events, give us an idea. You are a huge support network for all the arts organizations here, all the nonprofits. You literally bring their events to life. Give us an idea, because obviously on your end, it's carrying a lot of inventory, everything from linens and glassware and silverware. Talk about the event side.
We're very fortunate to be able to partner with a lot of good charitable organizations here in Memphis. We do things with Arts Memphis, Youth Villages, Target House, Levitt Shell, quite a few. Tenting, tabletop, linens, chinas, chairs, red carpets, flooring, lighting, you name it, and we do it.
And why is that so important? Because, I mean, you're very philanthropic as an organization, and obviously on your end, bringing these events to life, that's a huge part of those organizations being able to raise funds, the experience. I mean, so much of it is about the experience, and even weddings and things like that. It's all the experience. And talk about, from your perspective, what it's like to be able to sit back and see these experiences unfold and know that you're a part of it.
Magical. It means just everything to me, to the Mahaffey team. We're all part of the Memphis community. It just brings us joy to be able to give back. It gives us joy to be able to be part of the weddings. It's just to see something from nothing just to grow into something huge. We do it every year. We enjoy doing it. This year I'll be a judge at the chili contest, so I'm looking forward to that. I won't be jumping in the water, but I'll be a judge. So just everything that the gentlemen that own the company let us give back to the community. It's just a fantastic company to work for.
And really for either of you, I mean, talk about the dynamics, because when you talk about events, trends are always changing. So obviously you've got to stay on top of that. When you look at Pinterest and some of these where people come in with certain ideas, talk about that sort of dynamic where it's staying on the cutting edge, but also too sitting down with them and making sure that you're staying within their budget to give them that experience that they want.
Yeah, we were fortunate enough last year. We built a new showroom, and it's a state-of-the-art showroom. We have play tables set up where you can bring your clients in and pick out your china, your linens, your glassware, see pictures of the different tenting we own. Just come in and enjoy it. We'll buy you lunch, give you water, whatever you need. So it's a beautiful state-of-the-art showroom.
And so when you look at where you've gone and where you are today, what makes you the most proud?
That it's still a family organization. It's a big company, but it's still really just like family. Going to work is like going home to your family, and being able to get back to the community, quite honestly.
And talk about the number of employees, and I think that's another thing that's really neat, is just their philanthropic focus too, with volunteerism and activation, and so getting your team out there. Just give me an idea of what that looks like with your team.
Well, we're actually involved in a couple of different organizations as individuals, but kind of bring it together as a company and go kind of after those philanthropies as a company. We choose a couple of different organizations to support throughout the year, in which we all are kind of involved in a personalized, but really support them as the company, which is really great because it's a great way for the company and individuals to be involved within the Memphis community.
Well, I greatly appreciate all you do to not only bring events to life, but also to give back yourself. So thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Some of my most cherished memories of the last few years are cultural experiences, like sitting on stage while May In Chen conducted a rehearsal for the Memphis Symphony Orchestra, watching Opera Memphis's 30 Days of Opera, and taking a guided tour around the Brooks Museum of Art, where a docent simply asked, "What do you see?" Art has the power to move us, to evoke emotion and change the way we view the world. Art tells a story and also brings events, buildings, and cities to life. New Ballet Ensemble School is an example of how Memphis is charting a new course for cultural arts by bringing children from all types of backgrounds together to enrich each other's lives. And they're providing world-class training to these children regardless of their ability to pay. Arts Memphis is making sure that our artistic organizations and artists have a chance to succeed by not only amplifying their voices, but raising the needed funds to support them. And companies like Mahaffey Tenant Event Rentals are turning events here in the Mid-South into true works of art so we can cherish them together. Thank you for watching The Spark. To learn more about each of the guests and to share your stories of others leading by example, find us at WKNO.org. Just click on The Spark. We look forward to seeing you next month, and we hope that you'll join with us in creating a spark for the Mid-South.
Just like having the right information is necessary to make solid hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
Since 1964, Memphis Theological Seminary has worked to equip men and women of all races and faiths with the spark to do ministry for the real world. We're grateful to serve our community and proud to support WKNO.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.